everyone. I am Kunal Aggarwal. My rank has been this year 211, and finally it's good to be here on the other side in the classroom. And I'm sure all of you are anxious this year because prelims are approaching soon. Today my session will not be about how to do things, and rather I would cover how I did things from the first year onwards. This was my third attempt, and it has taken me a lot of mistakes, correcting them in every attempt to make sure that I am here. So I will take the journey from 2016 when I attempted my first prelims. In 2016, I did not clear prelims, mainly because I focused only on the static portion. When I started preparation, somebody told me with static you can clear through prelims because almost 50% of the questions will be from the static, and if you do a bit of current affairs you will get through. But obviously that didn't happen. Everyone knows that 2016 was heavy on current affairs on the opposite side. Then I knew that next year I have a whole year to prepare, and I should complete each and every subject in detail, including current affairs of every month properly, leaving no portion of the syllabus uncovered. So I started my preparation in August itself. Then each week I would appear for a test, make sure that I'm going through all the syllabus for that test and appearing. A consistent performance made sure that I am ready for prelims. And then the mains came in, and I knew that I have to prepare for mains in the initial stage itself, because otherwise time will be gone by the time prelims are done. There are few things in the prelims that I did the next year. I made sure that I have notes prepared month-wise so that I can revise them in a day or one and a half day at max before prelims. So the notes thing is very important. I made sure that the facts that I know I would forget or will be difficult to remember by the end of 10 months, I would note that down in my notes, so that whenever there is revision I will keep going through them. So each month's current affairs I would be going through at least 3 or 4 times by the time prelims are here. Then I made sure that the material is restricted. Nothing was like extraordinary that I would cover 3 or 4 books for each subject. Basic NCERTs, and then like everybody says Lakshmikant, 1 book for environment and 1 for history, and that's all that I did. Made sure that I can revise these books again and again. So I know by the time prelims came, I had gone through physical geography 11th class book almost 5 times. And now I know when I have to appear for the prelims the 3rd time, or like again this year, I do not have to go through the whole book again. The things are ready. I know I just have to read up few facts and I'll be ready for the geography thing. This builds a solid foundation which helps you all across your journey for mains as well as for prelims, even in future attempts if you have to appear for them. Now, the most important thing that I took care whenever I was preparing is the return on investment. Here the investment is of time and not just of money. Money you can cover up, but in time you cannot. Once it's lost, it's gone. So whenever you take up a new thing, invest in a new material or a test series or talking to somebody, make sure that you are counting it as a return. If there is a return on it, then only I will do it. Doing 2 materials, 2 test series, 3 test series would not help unless you are clear what you are going to get out of it. So that is something that I think everybody should keep in mind. And like I said, no subject is more important than any other. So I think with continuous practice and following these things, I could clear prelims with a good margin in 2017 and started my preparation for mains. Now I am from engineering background with very low creativity, so it was very difficult for me to really write essays because I would not remember quotes, I would not have good phrases to be written in the essays, and it was very difficult. It was a bit intimidating as well ki I cannot score good in essays. It was getting difficult. Similarly, for the political science optional, it was very difficult because there is no relation to political science in my whole life, and altogether new subjects had to be learned. GS, what I believe is whatever I did for prelims, it is the same books that I repeated for mains as well. I did not take up anything new for my mains GS as well, which helped me a lot. Concise subjects, concise notes, and then just keep revising them, keep writing, practicing. Now, I will cover the essay and ethics later, but I would like to first go through the GS 1, 2 and 3, what I did good, I believe that helped me. Like I said, note making for prelims was important, similarly for mains also it is important. The organization of the mains notes was in such a way that I would classify them by subjects: environment, geography, history, within history, modern history, art and culture, polity. So these are the things that I would devise, and then within that each of the topic will be covered separately in a note so that I can append them. So agriculture will be an issue that will be covered all across, like months, year, it will keep on coming, it will be in the news again and again, new schemes will come up. So I would have my notes online, and there will be an agriculture note. Within agriculture I would classify them in terms of insurance, productivity, fertility of the soil, all those things will be classified, and then I would do them. I would write the details, issues, solutions, government schemes, I would write them there then and there, so that whenever I have to revise agriculture, it is only 1 or 2 notes that I have to revise, and once that is done, I will be ready for my mains. So that is something I did. Then in 2018, I knew that I have to improve on my GS marks. Now, the things that were left last year were authoritative statements from maybe economic survey, Niti Aayog 3-year agenda or Niti Aayog reports, data with respect to various reports like world logistics rank. So those things had to be quoted this year, because I knew the general studies, the basic material of what, why, how solutions would be same with a lot of people, and this could differentiate. So what I did was I created files for each one of them, like environment facts file, and that is where I would have various reports being quoted, economic survey being quoted, second ARC being quoted, Hota committee being said. So on various issues I would classify those things. However, a word of caution here that this should not be too much. It should not happen that by the time you are ready for mains or the mains exam is there, you have so much of facts that they cannot be revised, they cannot be remembered, and you forget and all of it. So keep it restricted, like 1 or 2 facts related to logistics, 1 or 2 facts with respect to economy, how it is going, or if it is with respect to foreign trade, have 1 or 2 of them. So very limited facts but powerful facts, that will help you a lot. Now again, with respect to GS, there is a lot of doubt in terms of whether we should write introduction or how the introduction should be. I used to follow a standard rule that what is the essence of the topic, that is what I will write in the introduction. So like I remember attending one of Manoj sir's session, he said, so there was a case study within ethics which was related to work culture, but the word work culture was not mentioned in the case study. Now when he explained the case study, he said the case study is about work culture, not about a particular issue. So if in the introduction I mention about work culture and how it is important for a government office, that has an altogether different impact, different impression of you being a future officer, like how you think of a particular topic. So see to it in that terms, how this is important for administration or government or in general for public. Now I remember most of us have issues in terms of whether we should write in terms of in points or in paragraphs. Believe me, both of them does not matter. You can write the way you like, either in paragraphs, points. You can use diagrams if you want, use flowcharts if you want. Again, the point is ROI. So if you are not naturally creative, diagrams will not come to your mind automatically, or flowcharts will not come to you automatically. You will have to put in your efforts to learn them on how each of the diagram is to be written. Now if in a mains paper which is to be completed in 3 hours, you end up spending a lot of time in deciding how the diagram is to be made, then you're wasting your time. You might as well write points instead of that. So it's not a compulsion that you have to draw diagrams, flowcharts. Based on the need, do that. It is okay if it does not come naturally. Believe me, in 2017, I had not drawn a single diagram, single flowchart in my 4 GS papers, and I scored pretty fine even in 2017. So take it from me that these are not compulsory to be drawn. They are good additions, creative additions, and I'm sure if you do them, you will be rewarded for that, but they're not necessary. Don't fret out too much if you are not able to do it. The main content is still more important than everything else. Now, in terms of mains, I believe it's a game of 3 things: structure, speed and knowledge. While knowledge can be attained in a shorter period of time span compared to structure and speed, the structure and speed takes time. Sometimes I've seen people missing out on like a number of questions within, like they cannot complete their paper in 3 hours, end up writing only 17 questions or 18 questions because what they were either writing slow in the beginning, or they were trying to structure a lot of questions in the in their mains exam paper and had not got it into their practice. So that's where the mains practice come in. It will help you in structure and speed. Speed of thinking, speed of structuring, speed of writing, all 3 of them. Now, with respect to ethics, I have always followed Manoj sir's notes only, nothing else I have done ever in ethics. Apart from this, what I have done is practice, test series for case studies as well as theory. Now, I will tell you an interesting case in this. Like sir used to say, like we always write what is to be done in an ethics answer. And sometimes we also write why it is to be done because we want to highlight our ethical understanding on why we would take such an action. But what I remember Manoj sir used to tell us is how is to be written, how you will do that. Without how, your answer is incomplete and it will not fetch you full marks. So what, why and how, extend it to how you would take such a step. So if you are going to help a woman by enrolling her into a scheme, write how. If you remember a provision, an act, write it. If there is a scheme, that you may mention it. But then again, you should not make it a governance answer. This is an ethics answer. How is only a forward of, if you can think of various ways of doing it. You are ethical by showing, yeah, you will take that action. But it is your how that will show that this person is being honest. He has something in his mind, a plan in his mind, which will allow him to do this action, take this action, and not just, he's not playing on a baseless ground that I'll be empathetic, sympathetic to the cause and I will do this. No, how you will do this will enforce how is your answer. Now, practice is more important. Examples. So in ethics, examples become very important. I remember in 2017, I used to write, before I joined the mains crash course for ethics, I used to write very ground situations examples. Like I would try to come up with examples on my own. But due to this, what I would end up doing is wasting a lot of words. I will have to explain the situation, which will cost me a lot. So in the final exam, I knew that I'll have to come up with examples which are real world. Like if there is a conflict of interest question, and I know that there is a body, there is an organization or a body of ministers or members, some bureaucrats, which approve a project of environmental governance, environment impact assessment, but also sits on the panel of petroleum ministry or actually proposes the project as well. Then there is a right away conflict of interest. It is easy to explain, shows your grasp of current affairs, shows your understanding of the real world situation as well. So this will help a lot. Maybe come up with few examples with respect to this. This will help. Now coming to the weakest area that I had in 2007, that is essay. I scored very low in essay, much below average, and last year that costed me. Now, as I said, I did not remember quotes last year. I did not have phrases, no big words. I would not quote too many thinkers or people. I would make it very factual. It will not have too much depth as well. I remember essay mein, this year I knew I had to improve marks. Without that I will not clear through or I will not get a good rank. So I knew that this has to be improved. There is no way out. Efforts had to be put in. Practice, yes, but practice without a material is futile, because then you are writing essays in the round, because you do not have new quotes, you do not have new phrases, you do not know what you are doing better or how you are doing better, will not help you. So this time the major focus was on preparing phrases, coming up with words that I will be using in my essays, how I would rephrase a thing to make it more attractive for somebody to read. Now essay may see to it that if you are given a 10-page essay that we have written, somebody has written with 1000 words, 900 words, and if you are asked to read it and mark it, if it is boring, you will never be able to complete through, you will never reach the end, the conclusion. So you have to engage the user. You could use questions, you could use interesting phrases related to philosophy, related to new world situations, sometimes to modernization, things coming up, politics. If you want to compare it, bring that various dimensions which make it interesting. It should not become a GS answer. That is what was my mistake last year, that I made my essay a GS answer. It had what to be done, how it is to be done, the solution, what government has done, way forward. That is very boring way, and I think even I myself would not able to read my own essays. So essay ka the best parameter is when you write an essay, try to read it after half an hour or 1 hour. See if you can complete through all the 10 pages and you really feel that it was engaging. If it was not engaging, that is the first block. You should fix it. Now in essays, find your strength. Find your strength in the categories of essays that you write better. So let's suppose philosophical. Most of us fear philosophical essays, but then they can be scoring. I somehow realized that I could be good in philosophical essays. When there is a philosophical essay to be written, I do not have clear parameters, clear content to be written. So I end up picking up content from political science experience, from ethical experience, from GS1 experience. So then it becomes a varied set, very original, very different, and nobody would have exactly similar pattern or even close to similar pattern. While on a GS answer, GS based essay, like let's suppose last year there was an essay on the non-alignment movement, that will have a lot of people writing similar way, similar content. So it may become boring, but then again, a word of caution, you cannot just choose an essay because it will be different from others. You should have content, you should have thoughts, your own thoughts on that particular topic, what you will be writing. Essay is your reflection on the topic and not somebody else's reflection. You can take somebody's help, you can quote Plato, Marx, you can do all of that, Buddha, Gandhi, but then finally it's about how you see a topic, how you visualize the issue in that particular thing. So that would be covering of the how GS should be tackled in my opinion. The game is about psyche, it's not just about knowledge. How you manage your own stress, how you manage your studies, organization is very important. A caveat here, which I would want to emphasize for sure, is I have never left any social media site in my whole 3 years of preparation. I've never went out of WhatsApp for a full time, never deactivated my Facebook. So what you should know is how to use them rather than exploiting them. You should not waste your time, but then they can be very helpful tool if you are collaborating with people or if you are talking to people for your own relaxation. By the end of the day, if you are sitting in a library in ORN, by 10 PM or something, you are already bored, frustrated, tired with your whole day's schedule. In this scenario, my WhatsApp contacts and my Facebook used to help me. I would talk to people, talk to my friends, have a support system. So this is something I wanted to really highlight in this talk. Ki don't cut yourself out from your friends or your family totally, because they will help you out when there is need. So I think that should be enough in terms of what I should speak up. All the best for prelims and mains this year, and I hope to see you all again next year in the rank list. Thank you very much.